Hi everyone, my name is April Finley. I'm the Assistant Site Manager here at the Charlotte Hawkins Brown Museum, and I'm happy to welcome you to Baha'i at PMI. Today's virtual program is going to explore all the different connections, past, present, between the Baha'i faith community and the Palmer Memorial Institute. Earlier in our program, we talked a little bit about those past connections with some important figures in the Baha'i faith community in Greensboro, who also had a presence here on Palmer Memorial Institute's campus. Today we have Ms. Tasha Curry Corcoran, who is with the Atlantic Regional Baha'i Council. Can you tell us a little bit about your first visit to Palmer?
I came here with my friend Chandra Gwynn, who used to be the director of the Duke Black Cultural Center, and we were looking for an event space that we wanted to use for our friends, and she wanted to bring me to one of her favorite places. And so I'm so delighted that she brought me here, and we got to learn all these wonderful connections between the Baha'i faith, between, you know, amazing Black women.
Come on.
And yeah, so yeah, I'm so glad to be able to explore this with you again and go a little bit deeper.
Awesome. So join us on our journey. We're going to take a quick tour around campus, show you a couple of those special spots that sparked something in Miss Tasha while she was here on her first visit. Join us. Right, so we're here at our first stop. This is Charles Elliott Hall. This was our first male dorm here on Palmer's campus. It's built in the 1930s to house those overnight students who have been coming for a few years. And so now they finally had a place to lay their head overnight. This is a lot of the staff's, our favorite spots on campus, because you can just see so much of this beautiful campus, how it's laid out, all of those beautiful things from this one spot. So can you tell us a little bit about why this spot sparked something for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this spot reminded me of the Triangle Baha'i Institute, which is located just south of UNC Chapel Hill. And you know, the really beautiful green lawn here is very similar to the Institute. And just having this wonderful space where people can come and learn and spend the night and really sort of have some intensity with their fellow learners. And, you know, and really maybe even get away from, you know, their sort of regular lives for a little bit, just so that they can come and learn in a space that's just sort of dedicated to education. Right? And dedicated to learning how to cooperate with others. So, yeah. So this is like a bigger version of the Institute. It's really cool.
That is awesome. Like I said, this is one of all of our favorite spots to come and just kind of look out and, you know, think back on what it was like to be a student at Palmer in the 30s and 40s and 50s.
Must have been amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. You have so many beautiful things to see across campus. Of course, these cottages in the back, our teacher's cottage, Dr. Brown's home, Canary Cottage, is a beautiful place to reflect.
Absolutely.
As we were walking up to Dr. Brown's grave, you kind of pointed out this quote to me. Could you read it and kind of tell us why it spoke to you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this quote says, "The whole purpose of education is to help people to live their lives to the fullest and best." So this quote really spoke to me because really, you know, the whole purpose of the Baha'i faith is to educate mankind, right? And so the purpose of our lives, according to the Baha'i teachings, is to gain virtues and to gain knowledge so that we can continue to develop our souls in this world, you know, so that we can prepare for the next world.
I love that.
Just like in the body, like when we were in the womb, like we developed eyes and we developed ears and we developed, you know, all of the senses and things like that we needed for this world. Well, here in this world, here on earth, here in this matrix, right, we have to develop our virtues so that we can be ready for the next world. And so in order to do that, we have to have education. And so that's really education from the point that you're a baby all the way until 99 plus. Right. And so the Baha'i Institute provides some structure for that, right? For, you know, children who are like 5, you know, all the way to 99. And then, you know, I'm sure they're going to build something for the little ones at some point too. But, you know, we have a process for how we're going to develop people's capacity in order to learn. And so, you know, this is like education is life, right? Like this is what it's like.
Absolutely. So when you talk about how the Ruhi Institute is educating students and things like that, is that just here in the U.S. or is that worldwide with the faith?
It's worldwide. It's a worldwide curriculum. You know, it's standard, so I could go to any country and they'll be learning essentially the same things that I'm learning here at the Triangle Baha'i Institute. And, you know, and there's a series. There's a series of books. I think there's 17 of them or something.
Wow.
Actually, there's a lot.
Yeah, okay.
They keep growing because they keep thinking about, okay, well, how else can we begin to apply these spiritual principles to this particular, you know, aspect of human life? Right?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So I know on your first visit, we talked a little bit about how educators are viewed. I know we talked about how the Ruhi Institute educates people worldwide.
Yes.
So what is kind of the faith's view on educators as we're here paying our respects to Dr. Brown?
Yeah, educators are absolutely exalted in this faith,
Beautiful.
right? So as Baha'is, we believe that all humans are noble.
Okay.
But in order to bring out that nobility, people have to be educated.
Right.
And so those who dedicate their lives, dedicate their service to educating children and all others, adults as well, really have a special station in the Baha'i faith. And that's all educators, not just Baha'i educators, not just people as part of the Ruhi Institute. So, you know, coming here to Charlotte Hawkins Brown, to her resting place was really special. It was so nice. It's so beautiful. It's
beautiful.
It's so just befitting for the life that she led and the legacy that she left.
Yes.
And, you know, I got to come here with Chandra, who, you know, is my friend and who really looks up to her. And I have another friend who like heard I was coming and she was just like, oh, I can't wait for you to learn more about Dr. Brown and how much inspiration she's given to all sorts of educators around the world. And
that's beautiful. So we're here in the Alice Freeman Palmer Plaza. This was the site of our main academic building. The building was built in April of 1922 with 225,000 student-made bricks. It was a beautiful, beautiful staple in this community, honestly. Wow. This is where the students had their main education classes, where teachers had their offices. There was a library, an auditorium, and so much of the campus life took place in this building.
Amazing.
Sadly, it burned down in 1971 in February of the year, and that was one of the pieces of the decision that the school would close at the end of that school year. So sadly, we don't have the building anymore, but we still have a way to commemorate those who learned here. Folks can purchase bricks out here so that your name can forever be enshrined on the Palmer Memorial Institute's campus. And we also have other ways for folks to interact with the space during our annual events like Heritage Day or Christmas in Sedalia.
Nice.
Yep. And so another piece of this area is Stouffer Hall, and Stouffer was our science education building. And so in this building, you would have had like student science labs and things like that. It was built a little later than the Alice Freeman Palmer building, so the architectural styles are slightly different. But I know we talked a lot about how important education is in the Baha'i faith community. So could you tell us a little bit more about how education is implemented through the faith?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So first of all, it's really special to be in this space and to just like really imagine like how vibrant it was with all these students here learning and cooperating and helping each other and all these scholars like sharing knowledge. It's just, it's amazing. I'm very honored to be here. You know, the thing that's so wonderful about the Ruhi Institute, you know, it is a worldwide institute. It is the way in which Baha'is and their friends and people in the community are learning how to build capacity. They're learning how to look at the Word of God, to look at spiritual lessons, and then figure out how can I apply these spiritual lessons to my practical life, right? So how can I build capacity to, you know, take these, you know, maybe exalted concepts and then bring them to reality.
Yes.
Right? And so this is where really the science education comes in as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, the way in which problems and are approached are really through the scientific method.
Right.
So through, you know, doing science experiments with kids, right? And we bring all sorts of fun science experiments to the Triangle Baha'i Institute for children to learn.
I love that.
Right? And they get really engaged in that and like doing their experiments and doing a hypothesis and seeing and testing it out and seeing if it works and reflecting on it and consulting about it and maybe redoing their model, that kind of thing. Like those lessons, you take that and you bring that into any kind of any kind of thing, not just science experiments, right? And so that's what's so beautiful about this institute is that, it marries like the practical and the spiritual.
Absolutely.
And, and science and religion are in harmony.
There we go. We love to see that. My husband's a scientist, so I get talked about the scientific method all the times, but I've seen how in practice he's used what he learned in school to apply to just our everyday life.
Exactly.
And hearing that that's happening at the Triangle Baha'i Institute is pretty cool.
It's very cool.
Yes, some similar things, of course, were happening here.
Yeah.
A little bit later on our tour, we're going to stop over at the tea house, which was where some of the male students were able to do that. We also have a cottage on campus called Massachusetts Cottage, where a lot of the female students were able to learn how to put into practice everything that they were learning in their home economics classes.
Amazing.
So we had a little bit of that going on here at Palmer too. It's so good to know that that type of education is still around.
Yeah, absolutely. The best way to learn is to practice it or to teach somebody else.
Yes,
right?
The absolute best way. So we're here at the tea house. The tea house historically was an instrument that Dr. Brown and other teachers at Palmer used so the students could get some real life experience with some of the things that they were learning while they were in school. Historically, a male student, typically a high school senior, would run the snack shop so that all the other students could enjoy what was going on inside of there. But in him running that particular sweet shop, he'd be able to have some managerial skills, he'd be able to do some business purchasing, learn how to manage a cash register, all skills that he could use, later on in life. Another piece about this particular spot in campus is that we can see our farm equipment sitting right over here. In Palmer's earliest days, it was an agricultural and industrial institution. And so a lot of the students were coming here learning all about how to maintain a farm, how to do skills with their hands and things of that nature. We're hoping to revive a little bit of that with a community garden that'll hopefully be starting in just a couple of months. So can you talk a little bit more about the Triangle Baha'i Institute and how it's instilling these types of skills in its students?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, community garden, right? So we just built one at the Triangle Baha'i Institute.
That's
awesome. The participants this summer, they were able to, on their own, well, not on their own, with some support,
of course,
get the wood and get the saws and create these raised beds. And now we've got vegetables and herbs and things like that right outside of the main institute building.
Yeah.
And so, it combines the spiritual lessons about caring for the earth and caring for God's creation, and then learning the science and the math that it takes in order to build something like that, and all, so that everyone can benefit. And we really are coherent with a lot of the things that the Palmer Institute is thinking about, because education is not just about what's in your head. Intellectual education is extremely important. It's extremely important to know how to think and to read and to write, but it's also important to know how to do things with your hands. It's also important to be able to bring that to do practical things with the knowledge that you're gaining. And so I love that they were teaching these practical skills. We're doing that kind of stuff at the Institute as well. So as they have this, the participants will often have spiritual education on one part of the day, and then later community members will actually come in and give practical lessons about the kinds of things that they're doing. So we've had people who are entrepreneurs, people who are florists, people who are videographers, we've had also dancers and singers, we've had all sorts of folks in the community come in and teach a little bit about what they do professionally, so that these mostly middle schoolers will get some ideas about what they can do in the future and get a little bit of practice.
Yeah, and as a former college admissions counselor, getting them to know all their possibilities super early is so beneficial. So that's beautiful work that y'all are doing.
No, we really love it, and it really just brings the whole community in. Because schools are not really just about the school itself, where it's walled off from the rest of the community. It's part of the community. And so when we can have the participants from the community come in, when we can have the parents and the people from the neighborhood and all of those folks be part of the educational process, then it really makes everyone really be able to flourish.
Love that. Thank you all so much for joining us today for a Baha'i at PMI. We had a great time taking you around campus to show you a little bit about the connections between the Baha'i faith community and Palmer Memorial Institute. We want to give a special gratitude to Ms. Tasha Curry-Corcoran, who joined us today to tell us about all those beautiful connections. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So thank y'all again for being here. It's the end of our tour for today, but But this doesn't have to be the last time that you interact with this information. Please feel free to like and share this video, share it with all the folks that you know so that they can learn more about these connections, and come take a visit at the Charlotte Hawkins Brown Museum. We'd love to have you.